Hello there, my name is David Muduli, and I am a quantity surveyor by training, but an auditor by profession with over 5 years experience. And I am also part of the Omni Gym family, where we connect companies and institutions to the multiple gyms across the whole of Uganda. Well, from back then, I have always been what you would call a fitness fanatic. But luckily, as soon as I graduated from campus, I was lucky to work at a company where they gave us access to a fitness facility. However, there was always discord. People always complained about the fact that there was one particular gym people had to go to and others were not privy to the same benefit. People lived all the way on the other side of town, and in case they wanted to use the gym, they had to go to this other side of town. And so, in part, there was never any sense of appreciation for the benefit. That is one of the reasons as to why I felt there is a need for an innovation in this industry, because then why do you restrict? Why are people restricted more so when they have this benefit provided for and budgeted for by the company? And with that, I came up with a few ideas, a few concepts, and cross-referenced them with things in UK, things in, well, Europe, things in South Africa, things in India, and then Omni Gym over time was molded. However, I also got to know about these different concepts operating elsewhere much later on into the production of Omni Gym. Initially, it was more or less an organic concept. So we pushed it from the beginning to see how best it could work for these kinds of people, given that there are several hundreds of companies across Uganda that provide and budget for such a benefit. Now, the essence of gym is something that could be considered personal to a certain extent. However, it is something that will catch up with us at some point in life. Moreover, if life allows you a long existence. Because one of the biggest issues that we face in our old age is the issue of degradation of muscle tissue. And that is one of the major concepts that keeps us upright, keeps us walking. That's why you find some people at 90 can walk on their own, others at 50, 60 need support. Now, the essence of gym emanates from a few statistics that you can look at from back then and even from currently. We have seen that the level of non-communicable diseases has been rising at over 5% for a long period of time. And the recent statistics that we had indicate that 42 million people die every year from these non-communicable diseases. The things you see like diabetes, obesity, the hypertensions, and the like, they are literally flooring a lot of people every year. Now, what is surprising is that 85% of these come from low and middle income countries. And that is generally what you'd consider Africa. And with this, they say that the number will keep on increasing over the years. The rate at which it increases will also keep on increasing. Now, because of this, we face so many different kinds of ailments with our skin, with our muscles, infections, and the like, because of a few factors that could easily remove these different problems. According to the World Health Organization, they say that the major reason as to why we're having this increase, this spike in the non-communicable diseases, is because of a lot of other factors, but two major ones: a poor diet and a low level of physical activity. Now, if you ask the essence of the health and fitness, the essence of gym, then you have to go back to those statistics and ask yourself, do I really want to be there when my grandchildren are born? Do I really want to be there when my children are getting married or graduating? Then you will understand the essence of keeping yourself healthy. There's even a simple example that was given sometime. There was a gentleman who was involved in an accident. And because of the fact that he was healthy and fit and always used to work out, it was the reason that the doctors could find. I mean, nothing can be conclusive, but it was the reason that they could come to and say, you know what, The reason as to why you're able to walk again so quickly is because you've been training your body to have quick recovery, to have good muscle growth, to have good tension, to have a good capacity to handle damage. And that is why you're able to have a quick recovery from such a horrible accident. So if you ask yourself the essence of it, you have to go back to all those factors that have been mentioned regarding the particular deaths that happen every year, of which you and I are privy, regarding the fact that people are not even able to see their children's important days, regarding the fact that people are prone to quick and easy susceptibility to death due to accidents and the like. Well, when you consider the future of the gym business, you have to, gym and fitness business actually, if I'm to put them collectively, you have to look at the past as well as the present. You know, in the past, we've seen that it has been taken on quite slowly. It had been taken on quite slowly, and the people that were taking it on the most were people who are into bodybuilding, people who are into that kind of field where they felt that it was models and the like. And also, well, with social media, when it came in, influencers jumped onto that wave as well. However, as we speak now, we are still in a state whereby in case someone is really convicted to go into the fitness industry, he or she will collect his amounts of money or go and borrow from wherever and put up what you would call a first-class facility. Now, the emanation of these first-class facilities or even lower-class facilities, regardless, just to point out, there are over 200 fitness facilities across the country, if you're considering the current scenario. But because of this, the client, the person who has to choose, is every day being bogged down with so much choice, every day, in that they feel that they have to split themselves between different institutions. Now with this, there is a need for the fitness industry to take a good turn. I mean, if you look at places like the Europes, the UKs, and the American sides of it, the Western world, so to speak, they have a higher level of development in that people are more sensitized about the risks of health and fitness. However, within the country, it is something very different. But as we speak, a lot of companies have taken it upon themselves to support their staff members. Because ask yourself this, if you have staff members who are always falling sick, staff members who are not able to even move around to get things done and are very sluggish, that will impact on, first of all, the longevity of the staff members and also the effectiveness and morale, because people will generally not be able to physically be morale boosted. So they'll have that scenario whereby, you'll have that scenario in a company whereby staff members are just slow, sluggish, and irritable and the like. And we've seen in so many researches that the more the waistline goes up, for example, for men, the more irritable they become. Now, with that said, we go back to the fitness industry. The fact that the corporate world has seen that all these factors come into play when staff members are not given enough level of activity. And according to the World Health Organization, you need about 3 days of exercise minimum to just keep a good and level fitness potential. So you need to just have at least 3 days of at least 1 hour or 30 minutes. Now with that, you find that the fitness industry is in for a turn because corporates are jumping onto that trend as well. And we find that people are still stuck in the previous method where they individualize their fitness industry. So what happens is, whenever someone wants to get into the industry, so to speak, they will work out so much or diet and whatnot and have the perfect shape. Now, because of that perfect shape, people will follow that person in terms of what they do and probably hire them in terms of fitness training. The same is for the fitness institutions. They will put up an institution where the AC is so good, the colors are so good, the equipment is so good, and hope that people will pick them over others. But with Omni Gym, we see that there is a need for integration and to have that symbiosis across the board, whereby people are able to go where they feel at that moment in time based on their convenience. So it's more or less an autonomous thing on their end to say, you know what, let me go here, let me go there, because we've seen from research that people are not so much cultivized to particular fitness facilities, but they base on their convenience to decide where to go and when to go there if they are given the chance. Now this is the issue of foods and what someone should eat to keep healthy is something that has been researched on for so many years, and so many different people have different pieces of advice regarding that. However, I believe one thing. In Africa, the capacity to eat healthy is much easier and much cheaper. Because if you look at a handful of tomatoes, let me say 4 tomatoes, could cost you like 1,000 Ugandan shillings. And if you convert that to USDs, you can see how cheap it is. But if you do the same in Europe, you'll see that it costs much more to have a handful of those tomatoes. The same is for rice, the same is for onions, the same is for all these vegetables that people probably would have to dedicate a life to in order to get and to consistently have. And us within the country can just go onto the roadside and get as many as we would wish to have. So because of that, I believe it is very, very easy for someone to eat healthy. However, we have seen that also fast foods have come with a lot of force. They are not bad in the sense that you can have them once in a while because of course the taste and the flavor and all of that, but it's not something you should consider having every single time or every other day. Now with the foods, I will give you my opinion and what I do. Now to make it easy for you, you have to follow the macros because most people will choose to either do calories or just eat how they wish. But you must be very cognizant of the fact that here in Uganda, we have an carbonized, let me say. So you have carbs all over the place. You find someone having rice, matoke, posho, and then having sauce on that same day for that same meal on that same plate. Now, because of that, we see that people are experiencing an increase in these diseases because the body is storing too much fat. Now, if you're going to go the calorie route, you're going to have to use apps like Omni where you can follow your meal plans and the like, and it can help you track, gives you options that you can choose from, you can prepare at home, you can also have them carried, you can have people deliver, you can have other institutions that do the healthy foods to have them delivered to you. But the easiest way that you can do it is you can count your macros. So what you do is you focus on the proteins, the carbs, and also the vitamins or roughages. And if at all you're looking to keep a healthy life, just ensure that you always have proteins with every meal and roughages. Make sure the carbs are as minimal as possible, except if you're into the bodybuilding where you have to gain mass and all that stuff, but very few people are into that industry. So with that kind of knowledge, you have to assess for yourself what are the best foods to provide this. So if you're looking at proteins, you're looking at fish, you're looking at the red meat, you're looking at the eggs, you're looking at the chicken. Those are the best sources because those are animal proteins. However, for the men, to avoid gout in the future, I'll try to minimize on the red meat and have it on the low and have the rest as much as you can. But if you're looking at dairy proteins, you know that you can go for the yogurts, you can go for milk, but I would still recommend the animal proteins themselves because those are the best sources. And with that, you'll find that your life will generally show an increase in levels of energy, levels of capacity to contain your cravings for the sweet stuff, and you'll see that you'll have an overall improvement in terms of your health and what you eat once you follow that. And for the issues of sugar, try to avoid it as much as possible. What I like to do is, back then I would probably put 2 teaspoons, but now I put 1 or a half in a cup of tea. Maybe if it is a drink, I try to avoid these liquid calories like the sodas and the fruit juices. I take them once in a while. That makes it easy for you to avoid putting on unnecessary body fat that you don't even know where it's coming from. Yes, now the issue of having fitness as a major part of your life daily is something you cannot underestimate. Now, most people have an epiphany of sorts when they have a stroke, when they have a pressure attack, when they realize that they can't jump, when they struggle to go up the stairs and can't really catch their breath. That is when most people are like, oh, I need to do something about this. However, if you've been employing consistency, because most of us either employ too much intensity once in a while, or we just don't employ any intensity and never. But the goal for the whole fitness idea is consistency with intensity. Because that means you have to make sure that you watch what you eat, you watch what you do. And this comes from a peripheral things, because you find that it depends on the lifestyle that you live, the people that you hang out with, and how it is you carry yourself on a daily basis. Now, fitness is one of the most important things you can look at. It's like saying, you know what, is it important for me to look after my vehicle for it to survive? That is what you're speaking about, because the body that you're in is the only place you will ever be for the rest of your life. All the rest is artificial. So if at all you do not consider taking care of it the best way you can, then you will definitely have problems. And it comes from the small things, the things that you have as snacks, what you have for breakfast, how soon you eat in the morning, how late you eat in the night, how much sleep you get, you know, and how often you eat out. So it really comes from so many different angles, but if you're able to control some of those, you'll be better than 95% of the rest of the population that does not. Now, the way I can put it is that technology is coming for everyone. No matter how we see it, no matter what we think about it, no matter who has done it, no matter why they are doing it, technology is coming for everyone. And it is best to harness its potential, to use it for good, to use it for development, to use it to help as much as possible and to aid the different activities that would have been done cumbersomely. With this, I would say Omni Gym is trying to harness the same thing. Because ideally, the clients of the different gyms are not animals, they are not pieces of wood, they are actual human beings. Now, because of this, it is very important to cater to their preferences, to cater to their inconveniences, to cater to their likes and dislikes, to cater to their changes of mind, to cater to their routine schedule changing every once in a while. And if you don't cater to that, then you won't be able to sustain a committed relationship with your client. And technology has come to make that easy. So for us, what we do is we just make sure that the gyms on this end will have a larger revenue, will have more clients, will have more options for their clientele. And on this other end, we make sure that the clients themselves have more options to go to. The clients themselves have ease of access to healthy meals and meal plans, as well as the vendors who can supply these meals, that the clients have access to the trainers. We also make sure that the clients have access to easy training activities that they can do either at the gym or at home. And that is the most common way that people have harnessed technology in the fitness industry. They have ensured that at least if you're looking to work out, you shouldn't worry about what to do. And I have been able to also use this kind of thing because, for example, if I'm scrolling on Instagram, if I'm scrolling on TikTok, there are hundreds and thousands of people who are doing videos on a daily of what you should do in the gym or what you should do at home. What you do is that you save these videos so that whenever you go to the gym, you just reference to these videos and don't have to think about what you must do. Because someone will tell you, okay, this is an exercise for the lower abs, this is an exercise for the chest, this is an exercise for the arms, this is an exercise for the glutes, and you just simply follow that. So already that one has made life easy for you. And if it wasn't for technology, you can imagine how difficult it would be. You'd have to consult with someone. Same thing for the meal plans. Just go onto an app like the Omni Gyms and the like to be able to get the meals in local food, in calorized format, and then you'll be able to have access to all of those. And because of the fact that Omni Gym is harnessing technology, we're able to impact the physical, which is the gyms themselves and also the users and companies that have budgeted for their staff members to use these different gyms.